Hey everyone, it's plumioux here and welcome back to my channel for a brand new part of Let's Renovate Riverview. This time I am showing some plum love to DogPatch, which was suggested by KookieSims, and it needed a lot of plum love, and it took me a while to figure out how I wanted to lay it out. Originally, this was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home, and I kept it a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home. I don't know why I said originally, like I changed things up. All I did was added another kitchen extension, and you can see on the right-hand side right now, I've got a garage, but it just didn't look good when I was trying to roof it. It just looked hideodorous. So I get rid of the garage at some point, but first I'm gonna struggle with the roofing. I couldn't get it right. I originally wanted to keep the bay window that was on DogPatch, but I decided to go with a front sort of chimney looking thing. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, there's the roof when I originally started, but then I was like, that just looks funky. So we get rid of it, but I'm going to struggle a little bit more. And then we're going to look at it from the front and I'm just going to go, nope. So I keep the kitchen extension and then I put a pergola. I think you'd call it a pergola. That's what I'm working on right now. And that's where the driveway will come from, and then I'm going to put some fencing on the top and then some heather on top of that, and it just looks really cute. So when I was renovating this, I had it in mind that a single mom would live here and she could have up to 3 kids living in here. I wouldn't recommend it because, like I said, it's 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, and there's space for a toddler, so I just really wouldn't recommend having a toddler and a teenager and a child, maybe a child and a toddler, but not all 3 of them. You will see when we get to the children's bedroom that I did put bunk beds in there. So maybe the child has friends over, they can have sleepovers, things like that. But I mean, if you wanted to go crazy and have a single mom with a toddler and a child and a teenager, you go for it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to play your game, but I am going to silently judge you and think that you're crazy if you want that many Sims living in this small of a home. So I did use a little bit of custom content like I did in the last renovation, and I think the only bits of custom content that I used was the flooring on the interior as well as the windows for the kitchen and then the roof, and I will have those linked in the description for you, as well as a download link for the DogPatch, which I have renamed Cherrywood. I know, I'm so original with the naming of my homes, but at least it's not the something. I went through a very long period of time where all of my houses were the something, and I thought it was cool and iconic, but really it's not. But we are working on the exterior and the landscaping right now, and I have to say, you guys know that I am not a fan of landscaping. I just hate it. I don't know what it is, but it's just not my jam. But I really love how the landscaping came out for this house, and there was so much unused space when you first look at the Dodge pack. Oh my god, the dog patch in its original state. So I really wanted to take up that room with the landscaping. And as with the last renovation, I didn't want to change too much. I wanted the original shape of the house to still remain there. So that's why we've got this really small footprint, and you can see the footprint of the original home. Like I said, I just added on and extended the kitchen because it needed a little bit of room. And if you guys have ever played in the dog patch, you will see how, or you will know how incredibly ugly the interiors were of this home. I mean, the kitchen, for goodness sake, had wicker cabinets and a wicker lampshade. Who does that? This isn't a beach house. This is Riverview. This isn't a beach world. It's Riverview. It's a town. Why are we having wicker cabinets? And anyway, in real life, who has wicker cabinets? I've never seen wicker cabinets in real life. Let me know down below in the comments if you've ever seen wicker cabinets, but I just feel like that would be a very, very bad idea. But the landscaping is coming along nicely. I mean, look at it. It looks really good. And still, if you wanted to make some activities in the front yard, there's plenty of room to do that, but I kept it all in the backyard, which I do show on camera a little bit of what's happening in the, I guess it's not backyard, it's more of a side yard. But I do show that in this renovation because in the last one I didn't show the backyard because there wasn't much happening in it. But I thought if there's a single mom, her kids are going to need some activities to do while she's doing whatever she wants to do. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, how is your Sunday going? It is Sunday for me as I am recording this, and I'm currently sat in a lamb onesie, and I am comfortable as all get out. I am happy as Larry right now. What are your plans for the day? It's going to be Monday by the time you're watching this, but what did you do over the weekend? Let me know down below in the comments. I want to know how you guys are. So last night, I know I'm getting off topic here, but last night, my Saturday night was a little bit crazy. My neighbors up above me I thought they were having a party, but it turns out that things weren't going very well upstairs, and I actually had to end up calling the cops. I've never called the cops for anything in my entire life, and I was shaking while I was calling them. And so there were 3 friends upstairs, and things got a little bit out of hand, and one of the friends was a little too drunk, so the cops came, the ambulance came, and this was all at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Needless to say, I didn't get much sleep because I was nervous, and I didn't know if the cops were coming to speak to me, which they didn't, because they upstairs had actually called the police already, so I didn't really have to get involved that way. But you know, I never get involved in other people's business because I'm like, okay, if you want to have a loud party and be crazy, that's your deal. But it was getting ridiculous at 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, they were screaming, shouting. I thought they were doing body rolls up there, slamming each other against the doors, and I had no idea what was going on. And they actually have a balcony upstairs above us, and I thought somebody's gonna fall off the balcony at some point, but they didn't, and it was all fine in the end. But I had a little scary moment for a moment. I had a scary time for a moment there. But anyway, back to Cherrywood stroke DogPatch. So I wanted to put in a sandbox, but that one was a little too big, so I went with this one. I don't use sandboxes very often in my homes, so I don't even know what the interactions are for children, and even if toddlers can use them, but I thought that was a good little space for a sandbox. I'm going to put a bee box out there, and also an art easel if the mom's a painter or if any of the kids are into the arts, and then as well they could have honeybees and also sell the beeswax and the honey. I don't know. I just thought it was a cute little side garden, and it needed some activities out there because in the last episode, I didn't put any activities outside or very much in the house. So I wanted to make sure that there was stuff to do outside, because I can't imagine if you're a single mother and you've got all your kids inside with you 24/7. I think it would drive me a little bit mental. So, you know, get the kids out of the house, get them some exercise, let them play outside. And I put a barbecue out there. There's a bench out there for the mom if she wants to come out and read while she's watching her kids. There's just a few things for them to do. And so we're finishing up the outside, and then we're gonna go on to the inside. Now, when I was decorating the inside of DogPatch, I was using colors that I would never ever use. I'm not a very big pastel-y person. I'm more of an industrial type of dark color person. But I used a lot of pastels, and I really, really love how it turned out. So this is the first bit of CC that you guys are seeing on camera. These are floors by Cake Noodles. I love Cake Noodles floors, and they're my favorite. They're my go-to floors if I am using CC. And then the flooring in the bathroom is actually just tile. I think I went back to tile. I'm not sure. But I actually did something a little bit different when I was decorating this home, in that I actually put down all the flooring. I did all the wall coverings before visiting the kitchen, because usually I start in the kitchen and then move outwards from it, but I wanted to cover all the walls first for some particular reason. So we're going to use this base game flooring, and then I wanted to have sort of a backsplash. So we're going to see a lot of pastels, a lot of floral prints, and I really, really love it. And then I wanted to revisit the yellow. I know in the last renovation for Tish Cottage, I used a sort of mustard yellow throughout the house, but I really wanted soft light colors. And then I have this little separation from the kitchen to the dining room, and I end up getting rid of these end wall pieces and going with something else. But we've moved on to where the living room is going to be. I'm going to put a little fireplace in that little nook, because if you guys remember, the chimney is on the other side of that wall. So I thought that would be a great little nook for a fireplace, and I do end up changing that fireplace at some point because it was just a little too big. This is the one bathroom in the house, and we've got the subway tiles, which I like to use. I went for a soft green in here, and then this is going to be the children's bedroom, and this sort of feature wall that I used a themed pattern on. I really loved how it looked, but by the time I got to decorating this room for the kids and the toddlers, I ended up changing this feature wall because it just didn't fit with the aesthetic of the bedspreads. So I do change that. You'll see that later on in the video. But I went with these really cute dinosaurs, and I love to do this trick where I make the main color white and then change the rest of the colors to something else. But the dinosaurs didn't really work out, but it was really cute. And then I went for floral patterns in the mom's room again, and I really love how this turned out. And I mean, it doesn't have to be for a single mom. It could be a single dad, or it could be like a big sister or a big brother. You never know. But I had a single mom on the mind when I was originally decorating this. So I went with half walls instead of full walls, and then I decided to go for columns instead of the entire full wall that I had before. So here we are in the kitchen, which is where I like to start when I am furnishing and decorating. And I went with these cabinets from Pets. Now, I really do love the cabinet colors that I went with, but when I went to take screenshots, it was really, really bright, and I couldn't figure out how to unbrighten it. That's not a word, but you know, I like to make up words here on my channel. I couldn't figure it out, so I ended up changing the cabinet colors. Again, you'll see that in the screenshots that I have switched things up a little bit. And I wanted to do this sort of island countertop where you could cook on it, and then I also put a shelving unit in the back of it. I don't know if that's something that you would see in real life, but I really like how it turned out. And then this stove that we're looking at, it is one of my favorite stoves, and it actually gives you a cooking level of 9, or you know, good quality food of 9. So I went with that one. It is store content. I'm not sure if it comes with a set or if it's just individual, but I do really, really love that stove. Now these are the CC windows that I used in the kitchen. It's the only space that I use CC windows, and this is actually from the Maxim set by Chris, and you can find it on TSR. Again, I will have that linked in the description with the download of this build if you would like to put this in your own version of Riverview. But the kitchen is pretty much laid out. It is not super duper big, but I feel like it's big enough for one person to cook in, and maybe the kids running around and causing a little bit of destruction. But I put in some shelves, and I put in the cookie jar, which I really love that cookie jar, and the cookbooks. They come from the bakery set. And as I'm looking at it now, and as I was watching this back before I started doing my voiceover, I really, really wish that I would have used the refrigerator that came with Aurora Skies, because there are paintings by children on one swatch of the fridge, and I'm like, why didn't I use that? So I may aim to use that in the next renovation or my next build where it focuses on children. I thought that would have been really, really nice. So we've got this soft yellow and then accented by the floral background, and I think it's a super cute kitchen. Usually I would have put exposed brickwork, but don't you guys worry, I did work in exposed brickwork somewhere in this build, because it wouldn't be a plumioux build or a renovation if I didn't use exposed brickwork. And then next to the stove we've got this exposed sort of shelf, and I put mason jars and then also flour. I can imagine that the mom in this house would really love to bake, and saying that now, I should have put in the baking station. All these things in hindsight. But we've got some breadsticks just sitting there. They're probably a little bit stale by now, but you know, just decoration. And then I've got this apron sat there, and then there's the trash can, and I can't remember if I put in, oh, I did put in a dishwasher. It's the dishwasher that came with Pets that matches the cabinets, so it's kind of like it's one of those built-in dishwashers that is the same wood as the cabinets. And we're just cluttering it up a little bit. I didn't go too crazy, I wouldn't say. I mean, usually every flipping surface that I touch would be cluttered up, but I wanted a little bit of space, just a little bit of space. And then I do put curtains on every window, and you guys are like, why are you telling me this? It's a big deal for me. I usually forget the curtains. Like, some people forget toilet paper rolls or sometimes even toilets, I forget curtains. And I know that Sims don't get embarrassed or have that feeling of embarrassment, like there's going to be peeping Toms looking in. But you know, for a little bit of realism factor, you're going to have some curtains. And I say that as I'm sitting next to a window that has, in fact, no curtains on it. But anyway, I'm rambling. We're on to the dining room, and it's right here. It's all open. I really love open concept homes because I think it just makes things feel more spacious, especially when you've got a smaller home. So I put in a high chair, and I'm putting in some paintings that are more geared towards children and family. Again, probably not something that I do very often. And then once we move to the living room, I do end up switching where the entrance to the bathroom is. I put it on the side of the dining room, which isn't one of my favorite things to do. I've got a big thing about poo particles and being near food. I hate it when bathrooms are off kitchens or any place where there's going to be food to prepare, but again, Sims can't really smell or see poo particles, so I had to get over that very, very quickly. So I decided to change out the fireplace. Here we go, because the hearth on that original one was way too big. And then I chose this TV, but then I realized going back and looking at it that it was CC, so I was like, I don't know where this is exactly from because it wasn't in the description, so I changed it out to a bigger TV. I really wanted a small TV, but I didn't like the one that came from late night, so I went with a big TV. So that's sort of the most expensive electronic type of thing that's in here. And then off camera, after I was finished recoloring, I actually put in a gaming console. Now, my tester Sims did come in and they did do a little bit of upgrading. They did play test everything, so it does all work. And when I say upgrading, the only thing they really upgraded was the fireplace. So that's the only thing that you have to worry about. The fireplace will not catch on fire, but other things will break. You know, I had to create a little bit of struggle. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Anyway, we've got my favorite toy chest. If I could get my words out, that would be great. But my favorite toy chest is there from Supernatural. There's not a lot of things that I play with from Supernatural in terms of gameplay because it's just not my jam. But the build buy items from Supernatural, I absolutely love them. So I'm recoloring the sofas, and I had to get those floral patterns in the front room as well because the walls are very much white, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna do some exposed brickwork soon. I mean, where's the most logical place to put exposed brickwork? Behind the fireplace, of course. So it made sense. I kept it out of the kitchen. Usually I would put it in the kitchen, but I thought, you know, we're going for this pastel colors. Exposed brickwork works really well behind the fireplace. So that's what I did there. And we're just gonna do a little bit more recoloring before we move on to first the bathroom and then the bedrooms. And like I said, I really love how this turned out. Pastels are not my usual thing that I work with because, I don't know, when I'm recording, I just think the lighter colors look off, but as I'm watching it back and talking to you guys about it, I think it looks really good. But you guys can let me know down below, and also let me know in the comments what home in Riverview would you guys like to see next. I know that on the last episode some of you guys suggested the Broke family and going to visit their trailer park, so I might do that and also give them some extreme makeovers because that's how the vote came out when I asked if you guys wanted to see renovations, quote-unquote renovations on the Sims that lived in homes. You guys said that you wanted to see extreme makeovers. So once we get to homes that are occupied, I definitely will be doing extreme makeovers on them, making them look how I think that they should look. And don't worry about that clock that's floating at the moment. I do fix that, but it really irritates me watching back and seeing the clock away from the wall. But I believe I fixed it. We are on to the bathroom now, and we've got, like I said before, subway tile and then a really soft green color. I'm gonna switcheroo up the bathroom right now and put the shower tub combo and the toilet on the opposite side. I have no idea what the reasoning for it was because it's a 3x3 box, so I'm not sure why I put the bathtub over there, but I did. And I've put shelves, a shelf between the two sinks. I do change out those sinks because I thought they were a little fancy dancy and I wanted something a little bit more child friendly. When you guys are decorating your homes, do you ever kind of forget what the theme is that you're going for, because I feel like sometimes I do that. Like, I came into this thinking I want a single mom to live here with her children, and then I was trying to put in like antique things that I feel a single mom wouldn't have in her home, because DogPatch started out as a starter home. So, and I feel like the money that you get for a starter home in The Sims is just way too little. And I believe once I was finished with it, it came out to around 64,000 simoleons. That's a good amount of money for a starter home. Like, who is out there in the real world buying starter homes for 16,500 simoleons? Nobody. So, I have no idea where I was going with this tangent. So we're almost finished with the bathroom, and then we are going to move on to the children's bedroom, which I had to think about that. Are we moving on to the children's bedroom? Do you see how distracted I get? It's not only in my Let's Plays that I get distracted in my house builds or renovations as well. But we're moving on now, and we are going to the mom's bedroom, not the children's bedroom. That's the last one that I do. So again, we've got that floral print in the back, and I love these side tables from Generations because I like to make it so it looks like they were found at a flea market, and that they were repossessed, but they were refurbished. And that's one of my favorite things to do when I am recoloring. So it's a very simple layout in here. You've got a bed, you've got two side tables, you have got a armchair, a dresser, and some knickknacks, and that is about it. I didn't think there needed to be so much in this room, and so we're just gonna finish this off with a few little details. I'm wondering if I switched the bed now. I can't remember if I switched to a different bed. And another one of my favorite tricks is that I like to take picture frames, and then the part that's laying on the wall, I like to make it the same color as the wallpaper, so it looks like it's just frames. Does that make sense to everybody? I hope it makes sense. But anyway, I'm not changing the bed. I'm going with this bed, and I believe it is a base game bed as well. I tried to keep the store content out of this this renovation, because I know that a lot of people don't have a lot of store content, and so I tried to keep it minimal. So there is a lot of base game or Generations type things that are in this build, and again, I really love it. I just think it's cute, although that was Ambitions and that was Master Suite stuff, so maybe don't listen to me, but I tried to keep the store content to a minimum. But let me know if that's something that you guys want to see. Maybe I could do a renovation that uses absolutely no store content, which would be a struggle for me, but I will do this if you guys would like to see me tortured. But yeah, that is what I want to know, what you guys would like to see. Oh, I just had an outburst there. I'm really sorry if that got really loud in your ears. But anyway, the mom's room is done. We are on to the kids' room, and I've got a double bunk bed and also a crib and a rocking chair. So it is going to be extra super duper tight in this room for a bunch of kids running around. But I wanted to have the feeling of chaos, but then also mix that with really calming colors, if that makes sense. And once I change the bedspreads, you're going to notice that I'm looking at the dinosaur wallpaper, and I'm like, this doesn't really fit. This doesn't really work out. And I'm going to change it. But anywho, we are almost to the end of this video, so I think I'm going to love you and leave you guys for the rest of it with some music. But if you enjoyed it, make sure to do all those cool interweb things, like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you've got that bell ding dong so you can be notified whenever I do upload. Make sure you guys stick around for the rest of the video to check out the screenshots, the before and afters at the end. But for now, I'm gonna skedaddle. Don't be a plum stranger now, guys.